the scenes which you see in the parliament, sometimes ruckus being created, this I think it happens in parliamentary democracy, and our parliamentary democracy is a bit messy, a bit noisy, but then it has its own charm. Waqf board is not managing anything which is religious. It is only looking after the administrative side and the revenue side. Waqf properties are managed by the mutawalis. If we say, oh, we will appoint non-Muslim as mutawalis, then that is directly an infringement on the religious matter. So you have to see carefully, see the differences.
Today we have Kiren Rijiju, Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, Minority Affairs. So I must say that we finally got you. I have been asking him or requesting him to be here with us for idea exchange.
Thank you very much for having me here. Indian Express is a powerful institution. It feels great to be here. We can proceed with as per you have designed.
Sir, you are at the helm of affairs in Minority Affairs at a very critical juncture. You know, the ministry is in chatter and discussions. You know, it was very unprecedented. So, how do you think this term of yours will go down in the history because of this issue and also because of the Waqf bill? You know, the kind of discussion and debate it created.
Well, if you see any proceedings during the last close to 1 year now, when I am holding the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs, the debates and discussions have been taken place, and it has been quite effective. Initially, in the first session of the 18th Lok Sabha, there were certain incidents which were uncalled for, like the opposition party coming in the front of Prime Minister, not allowing him to speak. That is unprecedented because you don't prevent Prime Minister from speaking in parliamentary democracy. Prime Minister is the leader of the house. He is the leader of the country. His voice is the voice of the country. If you try to prevent the Prime Minister from speaking, it is strangulating the voice of the people. So we were in opposition throughout our lifetime. For a brief period, Vajpayee ji was Prime Minister. Of course, for 6 years, I was not there in the government. Of course, I was holding some important position in the party. But never before, even that time also, they came in front of Prime Minister that time also. And then from 2004 to 2014, we protested in a manner which was necessary. We never had gone to the Treasury bench side and then block the views or raise the banners and then shout down the Prime Minister. We never did that. So that happened for the first time in 2024 when Prime Minister, while responding to the motion of thanks to the presidential address to the joint session of the Parliament, this happened. So we had expressed our displeasure, and I had personally told the opposition leaders that this should be avoided in future because it is not a good precedent. Then later on, even though we had a sharp division in the point of view what we are taking a stand, the debates and discussion had taken place. But one thing I must tell you, India is the largest democracy in the world. And in the parliamentary democracy, the scenes which you see in the parliament, sometimes ruckus being created, this I think it happens in parliamentary democracy, and our parliamentary democracy is a bit messy, a bit noisy, but then it has its own charm. So I don't mind, house getting disrupted once or twice during the entire proceedings, but it should not lead to washout of the entire session. That I am quite particular about. And then, of course, we want to listen to the opposition parties. And we will take care of their voice. We will take care of their concern. But the thing is, they have to speak on the floor, not create any kind of disturbances which prevents debates and discussion. So I would not single out this 18th uh, Lok Sabha alone. Uh, there had been incidents in the past, but 2018 Lok Sabha, probably after a long time, Congress got 99 seats from 44, 52, and then 99. So they got bolstered. They got some shot in the arms without realizing that even after third term, they could not cross 3 digits, and they thought that 99 is a good number. So good luck to them, but we are happy and we are grateful to the people of this country that for the third term we got such a huge mandate under the leadership of Prime Minister. So running the parliamentary affairs in this kind of situation itself is a challenge, and I'm always ready to take up any challenge. That's my character actually.
Yes. But Mr. Rijiju, even when you say that, the disruptions are part of parliamentary democracy, as a person who has been watching parliament at least for 3 decades now, this 18th Lok Sabha was very unprecedented. It has been very unprecedented. One, speaker coming and making statements, what happened on 25th June, I'm saying, about the opposition, the emergency. It was the speaker reading out this. It's not the government reading out the statement. And the opposition party, for a change, they have united and they went to the speaker listing out the reasons why they are upset, in which they talk about how it's solely the government's agenda which is happening, or how the opposition voice is muzzled. There is almost, I think, 10, 11 points are there. So it is a very, it's not like what you are seeing is not what actually is. We know you may be one of the very few who still have a rapport, because recently I have seen some pictures of you, the visuals of you giving seat to both Mr. Kharge and Mrs. Sonia Gandhi. Later, you and Rahul Gandhi were chatting, at the portico. These are the scenes which are very rare now. So as the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, what's your challenge here?
Well, if I wish, I can list out longer list of what we are not happy with the way Congress party or the opposition is conducting themselves. But the thing is, everything cannot repeat itself. There are momentous occasions where things happen. For example, when the speaker was making a statement on emergency, it was 58 years of the uh, the incident which happened. So these are some of the milestones where the people concerned do make remarks, and also uh, they were unhappy with the speaker because they could not, enforce speaker according to their will, and it cannot happen. Speaker, after all, has to run the house, and if opposition tries to derail the functioning of the parliament, then the speaker will have to ensure that it doesn't happen. So they are not happy with the way in which speaker is in a position to control the house and managing the things well. So I have no much things to offer here except to expect good behavior from the opposition leaders in future.
Okay. So you were known as a person who used to speak your mind, and but in this term we have seen you more like sharper, and you are very careful about what you are saying. But many of the things which you have said about the judiciary in your term as law minister, now we are seeing many constitutional experts and other experts are echoing the same. So do you like, I mean, if you want me to repeat the one statement you have said that time, I can say the Supreme Court's collegium system of appointing judges is opaque and not accountable. And you said that it had to work with the present system until the government came up with an alternative mechanism. Do you think that there is this recent developments again? It's once again is confirming or what you have said, and do you think that the whole the debate has now again has opened up for the appointment of judges?
Well, I'm not the law minister now, but I can just tell you that what I had said that time were reflection of the will of the parliament, not the government alone. When the NJC was passed unanimously with one voice from both the houses of the parliament, that was the will of the parliament. So I had said at that time, I will not say now because unless it is related to some parliamentary kind of uh, procedure or related to the parliamentary privileges, I would not like to comment on judiciary because that will get me diverted from the thing which I am concerned about more. So about the judiciary, my views were well known when I was the law minister, and now as a parliamentary affairs minister, and also looking after the minority affairs, my job is well cut out, and I will not get into the judiciary and this executive and legislative divide and supremacy and all. I will not like to get into that now.
Hi sir, my name is Asad and I wanted to ask you something about the Waqf Act. We saw very elaborate deliberations during the Joint Committee of Parliament on the Waqf Amendment Bill, and we saw different stakeholders come and take part in the discussions and speak to the committee. And uh, several opposition members also flagged several issues that the bill was going against the constitutional rules. Despite all the opposition from big Muslim organizations and the opposition members, the bill was passed in Parliament because of the numbers. Uh, did you not consider the opposition to the bill from different quarters during the JCP and during in their dissent notes?
See, as a minister concerned for the minority affairs welfare, I will be very honest in answering to your question. As I said, we are having a parliamentary democracy. Parliamentary democracy will never have unanimous voice for any matter. There will be opposition, there will be ruling. We are not into presidential form of government. So when you have a substantial size of population who are in opposition, they will have a voice. But then it is untenable that the majority people listen to minority and put their agenda as part of the governance. It cannot happen in parliamentary democracy. If you think that the 40% of the opposition members have a valid point, it may be valid point. I'm not saying their points are invalid. But then that 40% of the numbers in the House cannot make the law against the voice of the 60% of the strength of the House. Similarly, those people who are in a comfort zone for a long time without any substantive thing to offer, but feeling comfortable as where they are status quo, things will not improve. Whenever there is a reform, you will see that reformists are in minority, and those who are opposed to the reforms would always be powerful voice. You see from the beginning, or you see the reforms as sati in Hindus. You see the Dayanand Saraswati when he started the social reforms, or when Jesus Christ started reforms at that time. Look at the resistance they had to face. Ultimately, you are going to turn around the things which are already in practice. So, nearly 9.7 lakh Waqf properties in the country not being utilized for the welfare of the majority of the poor Muslims. And this minority group people are comfortably sitting on top of those huge property, which is the largest in the world. I expected in the past, before I introduced this bill, I had expected that there will be huge voice from these people. And it has come true. Because if you see these political parties, these so-called religious leaders amongst the Muslim community, they have a huge interest in this work properties. Do you think that they will just let it go quietly? They will resist it. But then we are committed and determined to bring this reform. That is why we have done it. So, if you see the voice of Muslims today, the powerful Muslim leaders and those political parties who have treated Muslims as vote bank, they are standing in one side. And those voiceless Muslims, the women, the poor, the neglected and the backward classes amongst the Muslims, they are standing at the other side. You can sharply see this division very clearly, who is standing where. We are not bothered about those powerful voices who are not able to do anything for their own community despite claiming to be the tall leaders of their community. We are very particular about what we have to do. We have done it. Nobody can accuse us of not having enough deliberation, because before even the bill was introduced and sent it to the JPC, I had personally met thousands of stakeholders, had a detailed consultation, and these people had, in majority, had said that government must bring this amendment bill. And then finally, JPC did the record hearings, record visits, record representation received, record numbers of discussions. Rajya Sabha set the record of 17 hours and 2 minutes, longest ever sitting in the history of Indian Parliament to discuss on the bill. Despite these efforts, if some people still do criticize, I have no medicine to take care of that. But I am satisfied that Prime Minister wanted these reforms to be done, and we did it. And we did it in proper format of parliamentary democracy. Nobody is bulldozed. Opposition parties are allowed to make their voice. Their dissent notes are attached in the submission to the parliament. Recording was done during the voting by division. Everything is done properly as it should be in a parliamentary democracy. I am very satisfied about it. Now the things remain to be done is to first let people know our good intention. Number two, we must start showing good result of the reforms. This will happen. I've already had a series of discussion with some of the stakeholders. In couple of years' time, we will start roll out the benefits through these work properties for the welfare of the Muslims. So these are well thought out reforms, and those people who are opposed to this reform will have to take back their words. They will understand, regret it, and after all, what is good is accepted finally. You can't deny what is good is good.
But Mr. Rijiju, there was an accusation from not just from the opposition, from the Muslim organization, that the government had created a fear psychosis that if you don't support this bill, your land is going to be taken. Any time, any land can be, even this land, Indian Express land can be declared as Waqf land, and ये बोल के ये ले सकता है. That fear, that narrative you had set up to push the BJP's agenda. This was one accusation they made.
The narrative is in fact created from the other side, that if we pass this Waqf Amendment bill, the government will take over all the masjids and all the dargahs, qabrastans and all. It is a reverse actually. What they did in the CAA time, that if CAA is passed, Muslims will lose their citizenship and other rights. So now the Muslims have come down. They know that, oh, this citizenship is good for those deserving people. So the case in Waqf Act also will be on similar lines, because very soon many prominent Muslim people will also themselves will come out. I have talked to some of the people. I will not name, but certain sections have come to me already. They said they had opposed this bill, but now after carefully going through the provisions, they are supporting it. I will not name them for the simple reason that I don't want to take advantage of their realization. And also the matter is being heard in Supreme Court, so I am not also declaring certain things which I could have, but things will come.
I have another question. Since you spoke about the narrative around the Waqf Act, there is a section in the Act, the 3D, which says that monuments notified under the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act 1958, any claim of a Waqf on those monuments will not be considered valid. And then, whereas the Act itself, the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites Act, says that any religious place, despite it being a protected monument under the ASI, will not change its character. So don't you
Well,
think
that is a
contradiction?
not contradiction. It is supplementary actually and complementary. If you are holding namaz in Taj Mahal outside or inside, this will not be stopped.
It
Or
will not be a Waqf property then?
how can it work property? The whole campus is an archaeological site.
But
It's an
many
ancient
archaeological
monument.
sites currently
So-
are notified as Waqf properties.
First of all, you have to understand that the Waqf Act, the amendment which was done in 2013, had the overriding effect on all other provisions, all other acts which are in existence in India. First of all, it should not have been that way. However, it was done. And then law of limitation was removed. That made the provisions of the Waqf Act draconian, which could have gone to any extent if we had not come with this amendment. Now, we have made the things very clear and very simplified the whole thing. If even work by user, people are doing certain things, and initially the work was created through work by user, and subsequently if it is registered and accepted or acknowledged, then we are not going to disturb it. Because the underlying thing was that this is a prospective act, not retrospective. So it will not change the status. However, if a work by user property is under dispute, legal dispute or any other thing pending in the court, then we cannot take away the rights or the authority of the court. It will remain so. Let it be settled through the court process. So, suppose if Qutub Minar, somebody claims Qutub Minar to be work property, it cannot. It is an ancient property, it's our national monument. But if there has been namaz or other things happening in the campus, that will not be disturbed. The propaganda and the false narrative which had caused so much of internationalization and other disturbances, misguiding the innocent Muslims, that was unfortunate. And we told the Muslims also that, in fact, the provisions we have done is for the Muslims. It is not to take away their rights. That is why they are falsely comparing the Hindu endowment bodies and the Waqf boards, and in the Supreme Court also they have raised this issue and all. But our position is very clear. Number one, I'm just adding to what you have asked about. Waqf board is not to manage the affairs of any religious body, okay? It is not managing the dargah, or it's not managing the masjid. It's not going to get into the management of Jama Masjid or Nizamuddin Dargah. It is just only a administrative body which will just have an overseeing authority to ensure that things are managed as per the stipulated objectives. It is very different from the Hindu endowment bodies or the other purely religious bodies. So, Waqf board is not managing anything which is religious. It is only looking after the administrative side and the revenue side. Waqf properties are managed by the mutawalis. If we say, oh, we will appoint non-Muslim as mutawalis, then that is directly an infringement on the religious matter. So you have to carefully see the differences. Mutawalis are appointed by the Waqif. where government has no role. Why should government have a role? And then management, for what purpose, has to be decided by the Waqif and managed by the Mutawallis. The work boards have nothing to say. Work boards are only and only limited to ensuring that the management of the Awqaf is as per the desire of the Waqif, and the overseeing effect is on the Mutawallis. So if without understanding this, and you are saying that why you are getting into Muslim affairs, why there is none Hindus in Hindu endowment bodies, this comparison itself is misplaced. So we have to see this first. So I think that people will understand it. However, matters are being there in the Supreme Court, so I will not go beyond that.
So I want to ask something about the Waqf when you were explaining it. My question is that Waqf board will be taking care and overseeing everything as you said, but they'll be overseeing the money which holds the power.
Revenue part.
Revenue, exactly. But some person has to see that. I get that, but why non-Muslims?
That's what I'm saying. See, you have to carefully understand this point. Why I'm saying carefully is, if you're not careful enough, then you might miss the point. Suppose if there's a dispute about a land which one of the claimants is Hindu or Buddhist or Christian and the other is a Muslim, matter comes to the board. Board decides and it will be appealed in the tribunal. So a deciding body is always a neutral body, right? It's not that Muslims are incapable of doing justice. It's not that. I'm not saying that. So in the Supreme Court also, we can't say that judge is a Muslim, so he should not hear this case. In a similar way, if any body has authority to decide on something, judicial or quasi-judicial, then it is expected that the body must be neutral, okay? Having said that, we have still ensured that out of 22 members in the Central Waqf Council, only 2 can be Muslim. You can get the benefits of non-Muslims who have the great depth knowledge about the Islamic laws and other experiences. If the minister is non-Muslim and if the CEO is non-Muslim, then up to 4. That means it cannot be more than 4 non-Muslims. You tell me what can these 4 do in the House of 22? Number 1. Similarly, in the state Waqf boards, where only 2 can be non-Muslims. This is just for a fair balance. But that is not the critical point. I'm just giving you the cover picture. The critical point is the Waqf boards don't manage Waqf property. If you understand that, then the whole argument will shift, because what is the role of Mutawallis? Mutawallis are the sole manager, sole administrative officer to manage the Awqaf. When the Waqf is created, it is also natural that a manager is appointed. You can't have a property and without a manager. So a Waqif has to appoint a manager, and the manager has to be Muslim. He is the manager who manages the affairs. Although, another point is, Waqf property itself is not religious in character, because it is said that even non-Muslims can also create Waqf, but the non-Muslims cannot enter Mecca or Medina. I am a minister concerned, not a Muslim, so I had gone up to the main gate in Medina, where that was the last point where a non-Muslim can go. Because I am the minister concerned, so they have facilitated me to go to that extent. Otherwise, it is not possible for anybody to go there. So if you say that Waqf is purely religious matter, then why non-Muslims create Waqf? So see, you have to understand. Now, if you in a cool-headed manner, if you understand and think it wisely and rationally, then you will understand the whole basis of what I am saying. Despite that, I am also covering you that the board will still be managed by the Muslims. Non-Muslims' presence is only token to give some substantive support which such a committee also talked about, which also other committees have talked about, that they, we must have a diverse background in managing the work board. That's all. But I'm not justifying all what they had said in the past. I'm just limited, point making that it is a matter related to Muslims. It must be managed by the Muslims. That is why we are not doing any change. We cannot about Awqaf. We cannot change status of Awqaf. We cannot change status of Waqif. Who is Waqif? We can't decide. Who is Mutawali? We can't decide. They are all will have to be Muslims. We have nothing to say. The only thing overseeing through a statutory body to ensure that at least this is taken care of as per guide. Same as they cannot challenge who should be the charity commissioner. Just because the trust is a Jain trust or a Hindu trust or Muslim trust, the charity commissioner, which oversees the trust, charity commissioner can be anybody. It's a government appointee. So if you rationalize the whole approach, it's good. But even then, no matter how much rational I am in appealing and making my point, some people will not understand, or at least they will not try to understand because they have a certain agenda. Well, that's good enough. If they don't understand, I am nobody to force them to understand. But at least my effort has to be genuine, that we are not doing anything with ulterior motive. The narrative being created are false. Nobody is going to snatch the Muslim properties, dargahs, Qabristan, Masjid. It will be as it is. We are here as a people's representative to ensure that justice is done.
But sir, if you're talking about the fair representation, I support that and I understand that. Why not in other trusts, religious trusts as well?
There have been cases, if you study, there have been cases that the people from other denominations also have been made members or
Managing the
ma-
revenue.
part of, these are there. There are cases.
So you said that the tribunal will have non-Muslims and it will be a neutral body. Okay. Then the power to the collector or a state government official higher than a collector to adjudicate on whether a property is work for a government property in cases of disputes. We know that government officials are appointed by the government and they're transferred by the government. Don't you think that the collector or a higher official, when adjudicating a case, will not be impartial? And plus, the second point, while the arbiter, the collector or a senior officer is adjudicating on a case, the property will cease to be a work property during the process.
Very good point.
Don't you think that that is something that?
No, very good point. This point was raised in the Parliament also. See, first of all, Deputy Commissioner is religious neutral post. Okay. Deputy Commissioner post is basically created for what? Primarily, the role of Deputy Commissioner is the revenue, land records, and all this only.
But by the government.
Yes.
Appointed by the
Now, work boards are appointed by the state government. Okay. In West Bengal, who will appoint the work boards? Who will DC work under? Who will be the one officer above Deputy Commissioner? In Tamil Nadu. Why they are crying? The Chief Minister is saying that we will not implement it. That means you want, just surrender your own position. See, I fail to understand that while playing politics, people have fallen to their own, fallacies. Central government has zero role in the land issue because land is a state subject. Administration is a state subject. Work board is completely at the domain of the state government. As per the provisions, who will appoint the work chairman? State government. Who will nominate the members? State government. Who will post the deputy commissioner? State government. Who will this DC report to? State government only. Where is the role of central government? Where is the fear of injustice coming? Does that mean they said that BJP will take over the entire government of all the states in the days to come and BJP will forever, for infinitely rule this country? Is this what they want to say? They don't trust officers. They don't trust their own officers. If Tamil Nadu doesn't trust, the Tamil Nadu government doesn't trust its own deputy commissioner, then God can save them. These are certain things which it's difficult to, as I said, difficult to convince them because they have taken a political posture. When you take a political stance, the administrative justification is thrown into the wind. So, if we say that if deputy commissioner will survey the land, deputy commissioners have been surveying the land. And if we say that if there is a dispute between the Waqf board and the state government, then a officer who is above deputy commissioner will look into it. Even they have objections on that. That is, the JPC members had demanded that why DC only, if there is a dispute with DC, then yes, we said, it was not part of our initial proposal. If there is a dispute between DC's finding and the Waqf board, or any mutawalis, or Waqif, then the matter will go to an officer who is above the rank of deputy commissioner and he will submit his report to the state government. State government means not central government. State government means state government.
But in the meantime, the property will cease to be a Waqf property, right?
So that means they want that in Tamil Nadu's case, in Telangana's case, in Tamil Nadu's West Bengal case, they will do nothing and they will wait when BJP comes to power. You got my point? That means now, the day the act is passed, they will not do anything and let BJP come to power and do the injustice, is what they want to say. That I really fail to connect with the reality of what they are saying. You got my point? I hope you got my point.
Kiranji, you have made a very forceful argument in favor of the Waqf.
No, not argument. I am speaking truth only.
Yeah. And you have said that all those opposing the act, they have a political agenda, there is posturing narrative and all. But so far, even the Supreme Court doesn't seem to agree with the government. At least three of the key aspects, they were not in agreement.
How can you say that the Supreme Court has not agreed?
The government had told the Supreme Court that we will put it on hold till the next hearing.
That is a case is hearing.
They even signaled that they may stay the act.
First of all, let us be clear. I respect judiciary. I will not pass comment on what Supreme Court is saying or what Supreme Court will do. What I'm saying is, when the matter is in the Supreme Court, so it is being heard, during the hearing of the case, it is expected that you will wait for the proceedings to over. Secondly, in Central Work Council also, I am the chairman. The body doesn't exist right now because we are waiting for the new act to pass. Most of the work boards in the state are also not reconstituted yet. These are with the chairman and some CEOs, which are official people. So, more or less, there's no constitution of fresh board right now. We are all waiting for passing of this bill. Now it is being passed. We will frame the rule. Once this subordinate legislative process is over, we will start constitution of the council and the boards. So technically you can say yes. In the Supreme Court we have said that there is no immediate process in appointing the board members and all. It is on hold. But practically it is yet to be done. So the heaven will not fall down if we don't constitute in 1 month, which are lying vacant for 2 years. So regarding the Supreme Court's opinion, I will not comment anything, but it is wrong to say that wrong to assume that Supreme Court is not agreeing with certain points. Let the things get over first.